From preps to pros and everything in between, it's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Young.
Welcome into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Young, Mo Patton, JP Plant here on this Tuesday edition, as Top 5 Tuesday is commencing here just after 4 o'clock. If you are in the Central Time Zone, I don't know where else you would be, but if you are outside of it, thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Got a great show for you today. We're going to talk a lot of college football, and by a lot, I mean like almost every segment. and a lot of that is because, well, there's some big time college football news happening. Of course, you know, we always on Tuesday talk MTSU. Typically it's with Chip Walters. Today it will be with Athletics Director Chris Massaro. But yeah, we're going to get into the top 4 as the rankings are going to come out tonight. College football playoff rankings. Should be fun. A lot of questions will be answered tonight. Of course, the first ones don't matter. The last ones do. Doesn't matter what the first ones say. Unless you subscribe to, you can only move up so far. So I guess there's that. And of course, we're going to talk about the Atlanta Braves because Game 6 of the World Series is tonight, as you see Mo rocking all the gear. Looks good. Mo, how are you?
I'm all right. It's just ready to get to what, 7:09? Is that the time? 7:09, 7:15?
7:09.
7:09. So get this party started.
Yeah. Well, to do that, before we do anything else, of course, we have results and schedules to get to on the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
Let's do it.
This is your Tuesday Rundown brought to you by Jim Davis at Grow Live Give. Visit them at growlivegive.com or give them a call at 615-682-0022. Securities offered through IFP Securities, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, IFP member, FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through IFP Advisors, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, Registered Investment Advisor. IFP and Grow Live Give are not affiliated.
In Monday high school bowling action at Kingpin Lanes in Lawrenceburg, the Wildcat boys defeated Columbia Central 19-4. In junior college women's basketball last night, the Columbia State Lady Chargers got their season opened with a 65-61 loss to visiting Freed Hardeman's junior varsity.
In today's schedule in JUCO men's hoops, Cumberland's junior varsity travels to the Web, and they will take on the Chargers, the top 25 ranked Columbia State Chargers at 7 o'clock tonight. In bowling action, it's Donaldson Christian at Columbia Academy. They will bowl at 10 Pin Alley, probably bowling right now. And Summit is down at Kingpin Lanes in Lawrenceburg, taking on Lawrence County.
Oh, in Major League Baseball tonight, Game 6 of the World Series, the Braves travel to Minute Maid Park, take on the Houston Astros. 7:09 first pitch on Fox, and also on our sister station, 103.7 WKRM FM. In hockey tonight, Nashville Predators are at Calgary. That's an 8 o'clock puck drop on Bally Sports South, Bally, Tennessee.
Bally Sports South.
Okay, Bally Sports South. So you can find that there.
There you go. That's going to do it for your Tuesday Rundown on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. As friend of the show, Teresa Walker, posted just earlier today, if you are watching that Preds game tonight, Calgary will be honoring Crispy, Terry Crisp, during the first TV timeout, and our broadcast will show that. So that's pretty cool. I think he is retiring, and he may be a former Calgary broadcaster as well. I assume he is. I don't know any other reason that Calgary would be honoring him otherwise. So you may know.
Because he's an
JP.
all-around great guy.
I'll tell you, well, he coached Calgary
Okay,
to a Stanley Cup.
Oh,
there you go.
well, there you go.
So, yes,
There-
well deserved.
Oh.
Or some say Calgary.
Calgary.
Yeah.
Home of the Flames and the Stampeders.
One of the biggest rodeos in the world.
There you go. Other top stories we have. We have to get this one off first. Mo, we just got some unfortunate news.
Very unfortunate news. Longtime Columbia Central athletics director, boys basketball coach, girls basketball. He did everything there at some time or another. Won over 300 games, made a couple of TSSAA state basketball tournament appearances. Lee Claiborne passed away earlier today. 2016 TSSAA Hall of Fame inductee. 2019 Columbia Central Athletic Hall of Fame inductee. Again, coached or administrated at Central from 1966 to 2010. Coached everything but softball, baseball, and golf is what his TSSAA Hall of Fame information says. Became AD at Central in 1982 when former Central football coach and TSSAA and Columbia Central Hall of Famer Jim Cartwright resigned and served in that position for nearly 30 years before his 2010 retirement. So certainly wanted to let people know that and extend our condolences to the family and the friends and the Columbia Central community for Coach Claiborne's loss.
The top stories don't get any better as far as the
Occurrences.
yeah. I mean, this is a pretty somber start to the show, but former Alabama wide receiver and current Las Vegas Raider Henry Ruggs is now going to face 2 to 20 years in prison as he has been charged with a DUI resulting in death after this morning having hit and killed a fellow driver in a DUI crash at around 4 o'clock this morning. And as I was talking to some folks, I this is an absolutely horrible situation. NFL players should never be driving themselves after drinking. You have plenty of money.
Past that, the NFL has a 24/7 driver in every NFL city, or drivers, a driver
Right. They have
service.
They have a service
They have a service.
that they pay for.
All you got to do is call them.
Just call them. No need to be driving after drinking at all, no matter how much it is. Zero reason.
Zero excuse.
And it's likely going to end up with, it's likely going to end up a guilty plea with probation. But I don't know that he ever plays in the NFL again.
You know,
Clayton City ought to hire Leonard Little's lawyer.
well, I mean, Leonard Little played, Dante Stallworth played. They lost portions of their career, but they eventually returned. But I think we're in a different climate now than we were then.
And he broke his hip. Not great for your biggest asset being your speed.
It'll certainly be interesting, but honestly, his playing career at this point is a secondary concern, I think. It's tough. I mean, a mistake like that it's almost tough to even term it a mistake. It's
I mean, it's a
just
mistake.
a tough situation all the way around.
And it's unfortunate for Las Vegas is now in a heap of trouble. I mean, it's rumored that John Gruden is suing the NFL.
That'll be interesting.
It certainly will be. Certainly will be.
Because them emails that they keep refusing to release, I don't know how that refusal holds up in a court of law.
Going to be interesting. I don't think that. I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. They say
Unintended consequences.
no. Did they not think? They think John was just going to take his lump
My
and be at
bad.
the house
And go on. Yeah.
No.
No, bro.
So, talk about the outside influences in the remainder of that season. So, and I guess for some, this could be considered unfortunate news. Finally, Jacksonville State rumored, along with Sam Houston, to be moving from the FCS to the FBS.
More specifically, from the Atlantic Sun. I'm sorry, don't call them the Atlantic Sun.
That's
From
right.
the A-Sun to Conference USA.
This is a
Don't
mess.
they still have boxes that they haven't opened at the A-Sun at this point? I mean, they hadn't
They
even
just
gotten
moved
there
in.
good.
They haven't. Brady McAtamney said they haven't even stayed around for a cup of coffee.
No.
I mean, the first football season isn't over, and you haven't even. The A-Sun has not played a football season, by the way. This is not an A-Sun season. This is an AQ7 season where they are hooked up with the MAC, right? Or the WAC. I'm sorry, not the MAC. That's later. Literally. But yeah, I mean, if I'm the A-Sun, I'm absolutely livid.
Livid. With a capital L.
If I'm Greg Seitz, I'm just counting my money.
And keeping a low profile.
Yeah. But here's the weird thing is, so the thing about Greg is, and we've had him on this show so many times, I love Greg Seitz. This guy has more contacts in college sports than anybody.
It was so cool.
He's the
Sitting there
replay guy.
Sitting there watching the College World Series and seeing Greg Seitz on the screen.
Handing out headsets
Yeah.
to umpires. So he's been on the media credential committee of the NCAA Final Four. He's been
Well, he started as an athletic media relations
Correct.
/ sports information guy. So, yeah.
I mean, he knows everybody. So
Who's that guy with Greg Seitz?
Exactly. I mean, this is one of those situations where you go, clearly Greg Seitz is not going to burn a bridge if he doesn't believe it's worth burning for Jacksonville State. And JSU has wanted to be FBS since Troy made the leap. So,
Well, he has definitely burned a bridge.
he's most certainly that bridge is burned.
Torch, charred.
Anyway, we got a lot to get to. We'll talk to Chris Massaro later in the show, but we're going to get to the Atlanta Braves right after this, so stick around on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Be right back. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
This is JP Plant with TriStar Friday Night Live, presented by the U.S. Army and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Join me, George Plaster, the Guru Murphy Fair, and more than a dozen Main Street Preps reporters out under the lights, bringing you the latest turnovers, big plays, and scores on the Wilson Bank and Trust scoreboard from the final week of the regular season. Who gets into the playoffs? Who falls just short? All of that will be determined this Friday night, beginning at 6:30 Central on your favorite Main Street Media Facebook page. It's TriStar Friday Night Live from Main Street Media this Friday night, beginning at 6:30. See you then. When the Braves play, Chris and Mo are talking about it,
Yeah, that's trash can juice.
Speak for yourself.
for better or worse, on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Back to the Lee Company studio. Yep, they're fans too. Here's Chris and Mo.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. So I'm scrolling Twitter here, Mo. Come across a Saturday, October 30th at the Coffee County baseball fundraiser. They had Pete Rose come and speak
In Manchester?
in Manchester.
I saw that. I saw
You
Lucky
could've-
Knot mention that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Man, you could have went and got your white hat there.
that's right. I told you yesterday.
Figure
If
he
I-
had some extras, huh?
Who
If
knew
only
he
we
was
had
in
known.
town?
That's wild. Anyway, and don't you guys find it funny that Pete Rose is still banned in Major League Baseball as an official betting partner?
Isn't that something?
Isn't that something?
That's
I'm just going to sip my tea on that one.
yeah, that's probably for the best.
It's annoying. Anyway, Game 6 of the World Series is tonight. And I don't know about you guys, but feeling good. Feeling good.
Are you really?
I am. Look,
Okay.
there's no reason to get nervous at this point. Like, I thought,
As opposed to the rest of the postseason?
I will live and die on every pitch tonight, but
Well, I mean, there's no sense in being nervous at 4:30.
right. I mean, normally the rest of the postseason, I'm just like, they'll blow it in the playoffs. That guy, who was that guy?
Negative Nancy.
The guy from Major League.
Major League.
What was his name?
Did he have a name?
No, the actor that played him, and I can't remember it. But anyway,
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I mean that's me, right? But
Yep.
now I'm looking into the bullpen, and Wild Thing Ricky Vaughn is coming out with his
with the haircut
with his
and
vest
the,
and his
yeah.
haircut, and I'm turning my hat inside out or right side out.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not the.
Oh my God, it's him!
Yeah, right.
The guy from Home Alone. Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
the crazy fan who.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just can't remember.
No,
his
no,
name.
no, no.
It's not
It's
from
Dennis
Home Alone.
Quaid.
Yes, that is who it is.
Dennis Quaid. Right? Is Dennis. It's, yeah,
No, it's the other Quaid.
the other Quaid.
Randy
Randy
Quaid. That's
yeah.
who it is. Randy Quaid.
Yep. It's
Finally, we got there.
Quaid in Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
They'll blow it in the playoffs. Well, they will.
He's not. We don't know if he was wrong or not. They left it open for us to decide, I guess, if the Indians won the World Series that day. But yeah, I mean, I'm just feeling like, you know what? This team, there's something about them. We've said this. They've not lost consecutive games since September 14th through 18th. And Max Fried has had 2 bad outings. And we know why he had 2 bad outings. And after he figured it out in the second inning against the Astros, he went 9 up,
rolled.
9 down with
Yeah.
5 Ks.
Yep.
So Braves are Fried is on regular rest, and he knows what he was doing wrong. Their guy
Is not on regular.
is not on regular. He's on early. Yeah, he's on
He's short.
short rest, and this Braves lineup.
This Braves lineup, and
You gotta feel like they're gonna be good.
Let me preface this by saying I love Ozzie Albies, and Jody loves Ozzie Albies even more, but he has struggled, and getting him out of the 3-hole is probably a good thing.
Is it out yet?
Yes,
Yes, he is hitting 7.
It's exactly what you guys talked about yesterday.
it is, and
It's
the only thing
somebody's
Rosario. It's Rosario, Soler, Freeman, Riley, Duvall, Jock.
and that's the only thing I don't love about it.
I don't love Jock there.
I don't love Jock there. I don't love Jock starting.
Well, he was going to be in the lineup either way, whether he was in the outfield or on DHing,
Why?
because he was.
Oh.
I agree with you that Heredia should have been in instead, but that's, he was going to be. So it
I
is
would
what
much
it is.
rather see Duvall in. Heredia in center, Duvall in right, and
Or
Jock.
left. And Soler in right.
Where are you gonna put Rosario?
Oh, Duvall was going to be the DH. Soler was in right. Rosario was in left.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that would have been my preference.
I agree.
But
It is what it is.
But we don't get to make
What
out
I don't
the Braves
understand,
lineup.
what I don't understand is Darno at 8.
Where would you have put him? Would you have flipped him and Peterson?
Yeah, I would have him at 6 instead. He's swinging the bat way better, but
You wanna-
either that or
you wanna
the bottom half of your
left.
lineup is trash.
You want a left.
Well, Peterson's a left-hander. Albies is a switch hitter. Darno and Swanson are both from the right side. So I'm sure that's got something to do with it.
And then you've got Rosario leading off, who's left-handed,
Right.
which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that top half, that top 4, because Duvall,
Is
aside from the Grand Slam, Duvall has not been great.
and so here's the thing about that is, he's not been great ever without runners in scoring position. But he led the league in RBIs because if you get people on in front of him, and those 4 can get on in front of him, he's probably going to get a hit.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is we've not had guys on in front of him. I don't know why. He just shortens his swing. He understands that contact is what has to be made. And when he gets a pitch to hit, he doesn't miss it in those situations. And you have to have a guy like that.
Yeah. You're right.
And he's our guy like that.
Yeah.
I'll take all the Ks he gives us as long as when there's runners in scoring position, he delivers.
Yeah. I mean, it's not often that he Ks in those situations. So that's fair. That's a fair statement. But yeah, that top four.
I love Rosario, Soler, Freeman. I mean, you could go Yard back to back to back. And then Riley, too, who has done nothing but double this series.
You are looking at the National League MVP. I don't know how you're not.
Unless it was voted on before the playoffs.
It's somebody tweeted in response to this lineup, and I have no idea who at Jimmy G1574 is. But
Well,
he says you can choose. Well, he says you can choose, but I know what he meant. You can choose to throw strikes to either the hottest player on the planet, a guy who hits fastball 750 feet, the reigning MVP, or the future MVP. Doesn't matter where those guys sit, they have to pitch to all of them now.
that's not inaccurate.
No.
I mean, Soler, if you throw one and you miss,
He might turn it in. It might look like a gender reveal.
I mean,
He might
it
just powder it.
blows up. He absolutely crushes the ball. That foul ball he hit
You get a bell on that one.
was
Well
an
done.
absolute just mash.
He was just a little too quick on it.
Have you seen his bat speed on those fastballs? He took a 97-mile-an-hour fastball and took it foul to the left. To the left.
Yeah. It's like I was talking. Paul Lamb and I were talking at the Backyard Bowl Friday night when he was up, because Paul had wheeled a TV up from the baseball clubhouse, and so I was over there watching at halftime, and Soler was up, and I said, you know, if he's born in this country, he never sees a baseball diamond.
No, he'd be on the football field somewhere.
6'5", 240.
Yeah.
He's going to be somebody's defensive end for a long time.
I mean, dude, he is, and it's amazing to watch this team and how they have progressed from just a bunch of individuals when they all got here. And it just feels like mid-September, well, really mid-August, they kind of gelled into what they were going to be. And from the trade deadline on, this is a team that is equivalent to a 110-win team. So,
Yeah, but they didn't win as many games as the Dodgers or the Giants. So.
well, did you see the guy with the Real World Series tweet? Was the Dodgers beating the Giants? And my buddy said the Real World Series is all the friends we've made along the way. Because, moral victories and all. But, this team has just been fun to watch. I've had so much excitement and disappointment, but never did I go into a game feeling like this team just doesn't have it. Now, I've gone into it worried about our bullpen games, but I never thought this team doesn't have it. And we talked about it last Tuesday, 1 week ago today. We said, can this team do it? And the only people who believed that the Braves could win a World Series were Braves fans.
Yeah.
Because we knew what this team was capable of after the trade deadline. I'm going into tonight excited. Whether they win or lose, it's fine. I'm going into Game 6 excited and expecting a World Championship tonight.
Scrolling through Twitter as we are wont to do, tripped on one here. It's National Diabetes Month, which means Braves are winning Game 6 and Adam Duvall will hit a home run tonight. I don't make the rules.
It is National Diabetes Month. There you go.
And Duvall is a diabetes Patient?
He's a diabetic.
Diabetic. There we go. Thank you.
I knew what you were trying to get to, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's interesting in and of itself, how that whole dynamic works. I actually played baseball with a guy who had a insulin pump on at all times, and it's wild.
CA had a kid a couple of years ago.
It's like, how does that not bother you? Like,
I mean,
if you're used to it,
if you're going to play and you've got it, then that's what you do.
I guess you just don't think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Braves fans who are in the Cobb County area can go watch the game tonight at
the
Truist
Battery?
Park. No, they're opening up Truist. You can pay $10 to sit in the lower section. I think it's $75 if you're an A-list member and you pay $75. You can sit in the outfield and watch the game
On the grass.
on the grass, which is pretty cool. I guess
That is pretty cool. That's kind of like, didn't they open Hawkins Field for
Yep. I think for
the College World Series?
Yep. Put them on the field. Yep.
So
Throw some blankets down.
it's pretty cool,
Yeah, that is that would be an incredible experience
especially if they win.
if they win.
I mean, can you imagine being
What's the weather supposed to be down there?
in Atlanta? Oh, I couldn't tell you. All I can tell you is that this Max Fried, Tom Glavine comparison has got me ready to go. Did you hear the comparisons?
No, hit me.
So apparently, and I'll go through it right here as I'm watching it because I'll need to watch the video and tell you as it comes up because I don't know it exactly. But Tom Glavine started Game 6, obviously, in 95. In the regular season, Glavine was 16-7 with a 3.08 ERA. Max Fried, 14-7 with a 3.04 ERA.
Okay.
127 strikeouts for Glavine in the 95 season, and he won the Silver Slugger. Max Fried has 158 and will likely win the Silver Slugger. All right. Glavine was a Game 6 starter against the Major League Baseball's highest scoring lineup. Max Fried will start Game 6 against the Major League Baseball's highest scoring lineup. And finally, both teams were up 3-2, coming off a loss in Game 5. So, now, the only difference is this one's on the road.
Yep.
Glavine was at home. But he gave up 0 runs, and the Braves won a World Series.
So who's our David Justice tonight?
Adam Duvall, apparently.
Apparently, it's Adam Duvall. Yeah. But
It could be any one of the first 5 people in the lineup.
It could be
which means
any
it'll
one
be
of the
Dansby
9.
Swanson.
Of course,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we saw what Dansby and Soler did, and then Darno's hit one.
Darno hit 2 that game.
Yeah.
Any other wall in America except the Green Monster, that's a home run.
Jock is due.
Oh, Jock is way due.
So, I mean,
It's no
it could come from anywhere. That's the beauty of this lineup.
And it makes sense with everything that has gone on over the last 3 weeks or so that it would be Jock.
because it's no longer Jocktober.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's
Well, he just
Jock
needs it.
Vimber?
He
I don't
just needs it to be Jock, so that he can put that exclamation on. We just might be those.
oh yeah, there's no question. If I could pick somebody, it would be him, just because he kind of brought the energy
That swag.
to the swag back to this team that it needed. And man, I would love to see those Pearls running the bases one good
And
time.
I tell you what, he would enjoy it probably on a different level.
Absolutely. Again, Game 6 tonight, 7:09, 103.7. If you want to listen to it, Fox, if you're watching. When we come back, MTSU AD Chris Massaro joins us on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
This is JP Plant with TriStar Friday Night Live, presented by the U.S. Army and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Join me, George Blaster, the Guru Murphy Fair, and more than a dozen Main Street Preps reporters out under the lights, bringing you the latest turnovers, big plays, and scores on the Wilson Bank and Trust scoreboard from the final week of the regular season. Who gets into the playoffs? Who falls just short? All of that will be determined this Friday night, beginning at 6:30 Central on your favorite Main Street Media Facebook page. It's TriStar Friday Night Live from Main Street Media this Friday night, beginning at 6:30. See you then. Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant. Had hoped to have MTSU Athletics Director Chris Massaro join us in this segment, but he's a little busy right now. Not sure what he's doing, but we'll find out, because he is going to join us at the top of the hour at 5:05, so make sure to come back for that. What we will do is talk about what we were going to talk about in the top segment now. But first, a little additional information about the Atlanta Braves. Edere Adrianza has been placed on the paternity list and replaced by Johan Camargo on the active roster. He is out 1 to 3 days, which means his season is over. Now,
I didn't realize there was such a thing.
The Braves have had like 4 people on it this year.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I've never seen a team put so many people on the paternity list. But 40 weeks ago from today was January 27th. Adrianza signed a minor league deal with the Braves January 26th. So I'm not saying,
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, what better way to celebrate getting a deal? And here we are during the World Series, and I mean, celebrate for him, you know. My my wedding playlist is getting played tonight. But yeah, so I just thought that was interesting. Anyway. Moving on to college
A
football.
little too interesting, maybe, but hey,
Hey,
whatever.
Here you go. There we go.
you should have played the other Tone Loc song. Let's do
Yeah.
the wild thing. Oh man. This is
Thank goodness Massaro's not here.
oh gosh,
Yeah.
right? This could have been really bad. We do need to talk some college football.
You were
because
so excited to tell us about this.
it was worth it though.
Wasn't he, Mo?
Yeah, he was.
so
he really
excited.
was. He's got that I know something you don't know thing going on over there.
I just wanted to get your natural
Yeah.
reactions on the air.
It was worth it.
because it was worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's talk some college football. And since we have you on the mic, JP,
Yep.
it appears and has been reported that Vanderbilt is looking to potentially shop naming rights of its football stadium.
Get it over with. Go ahead.
And I just want to know who's going to advertise someplace that no one goes.
It's like a tree in the forest. If it falls, nobody hears it. Does it really fall?
I mean, I guess it's going to be on TV for those
Yeah.
who are watching Vanderbilt.
Yeah. And on the tickets
And-
and, promotional work.
And when when other teams come here, and like Georgia and Alabama and LSU, when they do bring those big fans, I guess you get some exposure there. But it's just interesting to me.
I mean, who do you market that to? Who are Vanderbilt people in the business world that would benefit from? I mean, because it's almost got to be a big time Vanderbilt supporter, like I would think.
Probably. I mean, I guess you look at maybe some Nashville-based corporations. Nissan's already taken up. I don't think Bridgestone.
Mitsubishi.
I
you
doubt
go.
that. I doubt that.
Franklin American Mortgage. I mean, they were on a bowl, and they
true.
pulled
Yeah.
off of that. I mean,
They've just got such a long name.
Franklin American Mortgage
Mortgage Music
Stadium.
City Bowl.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a lot.
that was a lot.
you
Yeah.
know, get an acronym of some fashion. I don't know.
FAM. I mean, FAM's a good more.
Now, I mean, what you brought up a good point. I mean, the Vandy fans typically, we're stereotyping here, but typically have a lot of money for the most part.
Sure.
Alumni, because it just costs so stinking much to go there.
Let's just call it George Plaster Stadium.
I'm not
So you've
sure that's
so
a
you've
good
got
idea.
so you've got deep pockets there, and then you've got people that regionally come from, because Nashville's such a great city to come to. It's
Sure.
a destination city, and that's part of the reason why so many fans come. It tightens. I mean, you see
and
that.
West End is growing. I mean,
Yes.
it's becoming a more of a touristy area.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the restaurant that Jason Aldean and Jeff Francoeur own, I believe. I think Francoeur owns a restaurant with Jason Aldean.
On West End,
Yeah,
because Jason's got one down on Broadway, doesn't
that's a whole, he just lends his name to that.
Oh,
He
okay.
actually owns this one.
he? Okay.
So I mean, it's becoming a trendy area,
Yeah.
a touristy area, and so yeah, I mean, that's just basically a big billboard for whoever.
Absolutely.
I just don't know who it would be.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing.
But I never expected Protective Life to be, a stadium sponsor in Birmingham either. I'd never even
Are
heard
they
of them.
based in Birmingham?
They are, and I didn't know. I wasn't aware. I would have thought, it would have been something much different.
And I mean, that's the thing. I think the way Nashville is growing, from a corporate standpoint and that kind of thing, there's probably somebody willing to step up and make a 10-year commitment or something like that.
Well, all jokes aside, what this says to me is that, all this talk for years that the administration, the university, didn't want to commit to really playing big boy football in terms of investing in the facilities, in the stadium. You get a naming rights, that pretty much takes care of paying for the upgrades that you need in addition to all the extra fundraising. So, I mean, that says that they're committed to making changes for the positive within this football program.
Does it say that they're committed, or does it say that they couldn't get enough private donations for that $300 million they had promised?
It says that they are committed to figuring out a way.
How to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
They probably didn't, but they're willing to go with the naming rights, which I think is a big step.
I think that's a huge step for them.
For Vanderbilt.
Considering that when I covered that program in the mid-2000s, Gordon Gee says to me, we're not getting into an arms race with the Auburns and everybody else that was building facilities at that point. That's 15 years ago, basically. So it's taken that long for them to finally embrace it. Hey, we are a Southeastern Conference athletic program, and we need to do a little bit better job of conducting ourselves accordingly.
Start acting like it.
Yeah.
Had they done that pre-James Franklin,
He might still be here.
Probably
not. But
not only that, but their program is in a much different place right now than it is. I think. I feel like if you have the facilities, you have the James Franklin success, you probably end up in a better situation on the back end of James Franklin than you did. Now, I don't know that for sure. That's obviously speculation. But, I mean, nonetheless, do it now. Better late than never.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got a guy who's committed to staying in your program for however long he possibly can. I can't imagine Clark Lee's trying to go anywhere else.
I wouldn't think. I mean, I think that's the great thing about hiring an alumnus for Vanderbilt.
You have a guy who's willing to stick it out through whatever he needs to, and you are now putting a commitment into him and his program, saying, "We're giving you this. Here's the keys. Don't screw it up.
Don't drive it off a cliff." And in all seriousness, as disappointed as I was in the South Carolina situation, and as tough a situation as this season has been for Clark Lee, he's not really had a chance to recruit.
No, he hasn't.
And the opportunity for a Vanderbilt alumnus to go and sit in living rooms and sell the Vanderbilt experience, I think is going to be dynamic. For lack of a better word, I just think it's going to be impactful on the recruiting trail.
Well, and I think their willingness to adapt new ways of thinking by hiring their coaching staff, the 24/7.
Yeah,
Barton
Simmons, by going in a route like that of at least saying we need to kind of rethink, go outside the box a little bit. That the transfer
Vanderbilt
portal being able to do all that too.
They
do,
because
Always.
they can't do it the way everybody.
That's right.
Does.
And there are some that have come through that thought that they could.
Can't.
Yeah, you have to know how to manage that program, and he does. So that's a positive. Other coaching news: it appears former Southern Cal head coach Clay Helton has a new job.
Seems so.
And that job is in
Statesboro, Georgia.
where he may or
Los
may
Angeles, California. Statesboro, Georgia.
well, they don't write songs about Los Angeles, California. Oh wait,
Yeah.
Not songs nearly as good as
Not great
Statesboro
songs.
Blues.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as good.
That's an underrated little college town, by the way. Statesboro. Have either of you been to Statesboro?
yeah.
I've not been
Love
to
it.
Statesboro.
And it's a great place to watch a football game because they love.
And
Georgia
you're
side
only, I don't know, an hour from Savannah.
Yeah, it's not far.
I mean, that's a positive.
I have heard horror stories about the drive because I know some guys that went down there for an MTSU Georgia Southern game when there was a hurricane coming and trying to get back.
Yeah.
And it was
There's
brutal. Yeah.
I mean,
only one way in, one way out.
Right.
yeah, and 7 hours, 7.5 hours.
Yeah, there's nothing south of Macon.
No, once you get to
on that
Macon,
trip.
you just forget it.
Yeah, once you turn on
Take a nap.
16 and head towards Savannah, there's nothing.
So you want somebody else to be driving at that point is what
Yes.
you're saying. Huh?
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yes.
Luckily, I was able to procure
Someone else to drive.
that stretch.
But yeah, I think Clay Helton in the Sun Belt is going to be a lot different than Clay Helton in the Pac-10.
12, but yeah. Yep. I know. I do it too. Don't give me.
For his sake, I hope so.
That conference out there. Yeah.
The conference that's out there. SMU head coach Sonny Dykes following the upset from Houston with the 100-yard kick return. Look at TCU apparently looking at Sonny Dykes. Probably a good thing. I mean, crap, you got SMU in the top 25. You must be doing something right or wrong.
He wouldn't have to sell his house.
I thought he was going to be in the mix at Texas Tech, though. Was he? Or was he?
Probably would have been. I think TCU, that's partially why they went ahead and they didn't want to give Texas Tech
A leg up?
Yeah.
on anybody that they wanted.
I think they want Cumbie. I think they want to just stick with Sonny Cumbie if they can. You know, if he, gives them a reason not to, I guess. But
If they are both looking, TCU and Tech, who's the better situation?
for Sonny Dykes, probably TCU just because it's in the same
Right there.
city. I mean,
Well, so I guess it depends on who the coach is, obviously.
Sure.
But, I mean, all things I'm just trying to figure out which program is better.
I think it's easier to recruit to
Position
TCU
right
than
now.
to Tech. I would think just based on where their schools are located, but
we can ask Brian Hamilton, my Smoky Mountain sports guy. He has a degree from Tech.
Lubbock.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He has a degree from everywhere, man.
Oh, okay.
I swear.
Yeah, Bobby Knight spent time there.
Yeah.
So
For just a minute. I mean, yeah, it's the Big 12 is in a mess. We've got Maction tonight. Ball State, Miami of Ohio versus Ohio. Ball State and Akron tonight. So there is football every single night in the month of November up until the end of Thanksgiving.
You also got Eastern Michigan at Toledo, for what that's worth.
Every single night, JP, college football.
love it.
Or not college football, just football. of some
Football.
sort.
Yep, love it.
Speaking of the MAC, we have Chris Massaro coming up. We'll ask him about that. Stick around on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
This is JP Plant with TriStar Friday Night Live, presented by the U.S. Army and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Join me, George Blaster, the Guru Murphy Fair, and more than a dozen Main Street Preps reporters out under the lights, bringing you the latest turnovers, big plays, and scores on the Wilson Bank and Trust scoreboard from the final week of the regular season. Who gets into the playoffs? Who falls just short? All of that will be determined this Friday night, beginning at 6:30 Central on your favorite Main Street Media Facebook page. It's TriStar Friday Night Live from Main Street Media this Friday night, beginning at 6:30. See you then. Blue Raiders to the two-tone blue, covering the teams you care about. It's only on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, coming to you from the Lee Company studio in the Front Porch Sports headquarters, WKOM 101.7 FM, WZYX 94.5, The Eagle, WZYXradio.net. Also, of course, on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Those of you watching across the world, we appreciate it so very much, as hour one is down on this Top 5 Tuesday. Again, Top 5 coming at you. Top 5 bourbons, because it's getting cold outside, and there's a lot of good reasons. So,
Bunch of good reasons.
it's going to be a lot of fun to count down those.
Before we get into this, we talked about Clay Helton to Georgia Southern. It must be official because at GS, Coach Helton is a thing.
Oh, well, there you go. Either that or, speak it into existence.
And Georgia Southern has put out a hype video. So,
Darn.
yeah.
Those darn hype videos. Well, good for them. Good for them. As this coaching carousel is only going to get weirder. So it is what it is. Excited, Mo, to get to this next segment, because typically we're joined by the voice, Chip Walters. But today a special Blue Raider guest, as we are talking with the Middle Tennessee State Athletics Director, Chris Massaro. And this should be a very informative conversation for us all. Because, typically Chip just rambles. I'm kidding. No, we love Chip. But this will be different and exciting.
This will be different information.
And I'm
we
excited
hope.
about it.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So again, Chris Massaro, the athletics director at JP and I's alma mater, Middle Tennessee State. Chris, really appreciate you taking some time with us from a busy afternoon, and I know it's busy.
Yeah, and it's really a pleasure to be with you guys, and I didn't realize, and thanks for being flexible on time today, that, man, to bump Columbia's own and Chip Walters, I mean, that's that I made that cut, so thank you for having me on here.
Well, we figured that we hoped that we would be able to get some information from you that we would not be able to get from Chip. So, is there any news that you'd care to break on our airwaves, Chris?
I would love to break news, but we're still, we still don't know. Kind of, there's so many plots and twists to this whole realignment, and now the spotlight might be a little bit more on us. So people are looking and seeing what we're doing. I think that, and I can speak in general terms. Obviously, I can't be very specific, but we're trying to lay out the scenarios that are going to be best for Middle Tennessee for the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next 15 years. So these are long-term decisions. That what I don't like about realignment, and that's a rather lengthy list of what I don't like about realignment, but to me, the decisions get made really hastily and without much data. And so what I'm trying to do is gather up some data on scenarios that would be appealing, and then present those to Dr. McPhee as the discussions of what's best for the entire university need to take place. So that's kind of a process that we'll go through.
So, Chris, this whole realignment chapter started with Texas and Oklahoma and the talks that they were going to be heading to the SEC. That became official in late July. So I guess the rumblings started a couple of weeks before that, early to mid-July. At what point does Middle Tennessee State University athletics director Chris Massaro start looking at dominoes and seeing how this affects his program?
Well, Maurice, you never stop looking at that. Number one, I don't know if I think people were surprised at the Texas-Oklahoma, just maybe at the timing of it, but maybe not that could be an outcome eventually. So all that stuff is you look at all the time, and you always keep one eye open. And then when Oklahoma and Texas did go to the SEC, that signaled game on. And so there was really what I don't like about realignment is that it kind of turned into a little bit of a Game of Thrones kind of thing where you're cutting partners out and you're slashing throats and and those kind of things, particularly when it reached maybe to the group of 5 level, that I would have, to me, it makes more sense to get into a boardroom and draw it all out. I think when you think about it, the entrance fees and exit fees get kind of silly at our level because you're, in some ways, you're paying money to be around the same people you always were around and those kind of things. And that's what's kind of happened with our realignment. But I think the structures are so much in place and there's so much entrenchment in each individual conference that it really makes it difficult and maybe almost impossible to merge and those are bad words, but just to sit into a conference room and say, look, here's what makes sense for everybody. And that didn't happen and couldn't happen. And it turned very predatory. And so that's sort of the game. So to answer your question, all along, I was trying to build coalitions and those kind of things that could happen. And, in Western Kentucky and us had some of those conversations as well that we're stronger together than being pulled apart and those kind of things. And so we've got we want to beat them like heck on the field every sport we play, but we've always had a really good administrative relationship with those guys. So we've been working on it for pre-COVID really. But nobody could have predicted kind of how it went and kind of the needs and what was the Mountain West going to poach some of the American and the Americans play into the Mountain West. And so we had to go through all of those reiterations, whether they're successful or not, and then I think that there were rumors that the American would take 2 to 6. I think I was a little bit surprised at 6, but that's their choice, and then that sort of started putting the spotlight on on the Conference USA schools. So yeah, it's been a surprising. There's been some decisions that have surprised or were a little bit hard to predict, in the sequences.
Chris Massaro, Athletics Director at Middle Tennessee State, joining us here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports today. Chris, we are radio guys, and everything is radio is just fodder for us. And obviously, conference realignment has been a big part of our fall lineup. But you guys have been incredibly quiet in this situation. Has that been intentional on your part to make sure that you have all of the options available to you and something doesn't leak out that, you're going here and so that somebody else maybe doesn't, give you a call or whatever? Has that been intentional for you guys?
Yeah, I think so. That's the way I like to do business, that some people use some of the national media guys to be their sources, and then next time there's a job opening, that they might get their name mentioned by that same person or whatever. And so sometimes there's those sort of mutual deals there, whether and it doesn't have to be an AD. It could be anybody, a coach or an associate AD or whatever it is. And I've never tried to operate that way. I think that you deal with the people that are actually have the capability of doing the deals. and I don't want to hurt our chances by being noisy. Like you said, you know, we've been incredibly quiet, and so to kind of go about our business, and also that allows you maybe more time to make more to collect more data and to make more fact-based decisions and those kind of things. So I think that you have to be a little bit pragmatic. I think that, you know, we're getting to the end of the trail of maybe the realignment piece towards at the FBS level. There's still a lot to be done at the FCS level, but we don't have any kind of crushing emergency that other than relief for some of us that are involved in it every day to have a decision by Friday or next Friday or whenever. This stuff's not going to happen until 2023. So why not take a day or two or a week or two or however long it takes to really kind of evaluate the scenarios and to make sure we're making the best decision we can with the information we have at the time.
I would imagine that relief is no small thing, though, Chris.
You're right, Maurice, and it's like being in a coach's search in some ways that occupies all your time. I mean, I've been on the phone continually, really, since the American did their deal when they added the 6 members of the Conference USA. And really prior to that, I was on the phone quite a bit, but that really heightened the spotlight, because then the spotlight was directly on Conference USA and by association on Middle Tennessee. So yeah, that my staff will tell you that I've been kind of unavailable a lot, that there's been a phone to my ear and just trying to collect as much information as I can so we can position ourselves, given the circumstances, the best that we can be kind of as we go through this. So there are going to be some outcomes that I'm going to be thrilled about, whatever directions we go. There's going to be some that I'm just going to be absolutely ecstatic about, and I think that we can make it work and those kind of things. And there's going to be some things that maybe weren't quite as good as maybe what we've enjoyed before. So it's got to be a little bit of a balancing act on some of that stuff. But I through it all, we're strong because we've got great coaches. We've got winning programs. We've got a market that's just busting at the seams economically and population. So we're positioned really well, and we're positioned really well with Western Kentucky as well as a partner in this thing.
Yeah, 100 miles of hate doesn't necessarily translate to the athletics department doors. So there you go.
Not to the AD's doors, but we're going to play them on Saturday.
That's right.
We want to. I mean, that's a huge game for us, and so yeah, I mean, we don't want to back away 1 second on that. So they're a rival, and there's every Monday, Mark Owens gives us a sport report, and part of that sheet is how we do head-to-head against Western Kentucky.
That's what I like to hear.
You know, if y'all play on Saturday, that'd be a great day for an announcement, wouldn't it?
Now, wouldn't it, though?
Good day for an announcement.
Halftime of that one, yeah. We'll be expecting Chris Massaro, Athletics Director at MTSU. Chris, thanks so much for joining us today, man. We appreciate it.
JP and Maurice, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you guys, and thanks for what you do, and thanks for talking about Middle Tennessee as well.
You got it. All right. When we come back, more college football, because we give you our predictions on what you'll hear tonight on ESPN when the college football playoffs are announced. So nice music there. A little Mac the Knife. We'll be right back on Southern Middle Tennessee.
Just a jackknife has old Maggie Heath, baby, and it keeps it out of sight. You know when that shark.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
This is JP Plant with TriStar Friday Night Live, presented by the U.S. Army and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Join me, George Blaster, the Guru Murphy Fair, and more than a dozen Main Street Preps reporters out under the lights, bringing you the latest turnovers, big plays, and scores on the Wilson Bank and Trust scoreboard from the final week of the regular season. Who gets into the playoffs? Who falls just short? All of that will be determined this Friday night, beginning at 6:30 Central on your favorite Main Street Media Facebook page. It's TriStar Friday Night Live from Main Street Media this Friday night, beginning at 6:30. See you then. The sports talk show you've always wanted. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. From preps to pros. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Time to talk some college football playoffs.
Playoffs?
Playoffs.
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 Don't talk about playoffs.
I can. That clip would have been very appropriate for the Colts this weekend. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter. Adrian Peterson will wear number 8 for the Tennessee Titans. That's exciting. Right. Someone said the number is cursed. Said not for a running back.
For the Titans? Who else wore 8?
Mariota.
Oh yeah. How quickly we pointing at me, have forgotten. And that's, my wife, that's the jersey she bought. She was a big Mariota fan.
I'm a big Mariota fan. Love Marcus
Oh, yeah.
Mariota. One of my favorite people in the world.
No
Terrible
reason
quarterback.
not to. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah.
Dude was awesome when I got to hang out with him at that at the Warwick Dunn Habitat for Humanity, when Warwick Dunn's that they pay off the mortgage or whatever. It's so crazy how that works too, because they send the family for Habitat for Humanity. You actually have to buy the house, and they sent them off to do all the closing paperwork. They signed all the paperwork, and then Warwick Dunn said, "Just kidding, here, it's paid for."
There you go.
That was pretty cool. So, and then Mariota shows up because he was the Nashville guy for that. And anyway, pretty cool. College football playoff rankings will come out tonight. I will not know what they are until I get an ESPN alert, because I certainly won't be watching it. I did get a second TV though mounted on the wall in the corner by the pool table.
Okay.
So I might try to throw it up there, but I won't be paying attention to it very much.
Yeah, your neck's going to get tired if you try to.
Well, if I sit on the chase, I can see both.
Okay, it's a long way.
It's a long way, but I'll be able to at least see it.
Okay, all right.
It'll be there. Okay. Anyway, I don't know. I may throw it up. Anyway, here are 5 of the most important criteria for the college football playoff, and this is important for us in our next discussion. Strength of schedule.
This is according to.
This is according to the college football playoff.
Okay.
Strength
to the committee.
To the committee. Strength of schedule, conference championships when decided, head-to-head, results versus common opponents, and results versus ranked opponents. Now, the rankings they use are the previous week's college football playoff rankings. Now, since they don't have one, I guess they're talking about that, how we would rank them this time, right? So they don't use, when they played rankings type things. So you don't get a win over number 2 Iowa if they're number 14 this week or whatever. Notice that game control is not listed in the criteria, even though it does come out of the chairman of the committee's mouth quite often. They don't have a way to measure that. So,
Game control.
But they do say that quite often. So it's not listed as one of the criteria, although I think it does play a part. So, with that being said, here are the questions. And the big question is Cincinnati, right? That's the big question.
I think so. Yeah, where's Cincinnati?
I think that's the primary question, because depending on where Cincinnati is,
It
triggers other questions.
I
But
agree.
I think Cincinnati is the first domino.
All right. So number 1 is Georgia, right? There's no question they're
Yes.
going to be number 1. Who should be number 2?
I feel like Cincinnati should be number 2.
I agree. But
I think Michigan State should be number 2.
I think they're going to be. We'll get to
I think
that.
they should be.
Why do you think they should be?
I think their resume is better than Cincinnati's. They have their win at Michigan is better than Cincy's win at Notre Dame, in my opinion. And Michigan State's win at Miami, considering what Miami's done the last couple of weeks. I just think Michigan State, they have a better resume.
Michigan's trash, though.
That's my thing. I mean, that was kind of where I was trying to get to. If Michigan is Michigan State's biggest win, then I don't see it. And I like this Michigan State team. I watched the large majority of that game Saturday. First time I've set out to watch a Big Ten game, and I don't know when. But I like that team.
Michigan's, they were 6th in the country this past week.
I can't help that.
Well, it's
Okay, so beating a number 6 team in the country should put you in. Where were they? Michigan State was 8th, right?
they were 8th. Yeah.
I just don't think Michigan has not done anything
to
to prove
warrant
to me they were the number 6 team other than be undefeated.
Or what has Notre Dame done for Cincinnati's win?
Well, they've also stayed undefeated. But they play a much tougher schedule, Notre Dame does,
Then
than Michigan has so to this point. The two schedules, if you looked at them, Michigan would not be where Notre Dame is. But that's neither here nor there. The question that I was, or the situation that I will put Cincinnati in is this. Everyone talks about the Notre Dame win, right? Everyone says the Notre Dame win's the only win they got.
yeah, Indiana's not as shiny as it was at the beginning of the year.
Guess who beat Indiana by more than the other team? Cincinnati beat Indiana
More than
by
Michigan State.
way more of a margin than Michigan State
I
did.
think that's their only common opponent, right? Mm-hmm.
So, my point is, we put an unbelievable expectation level on Group of 5 teams that Power 5 teams don't even have to live up to. If we're being completely honest right now, what has Georgia done to be number 1? Who has Georgia beaten to deserve to be number 1? Give me one team that they've played worth a crap. Auburn, who
I got
lost
nothing.
at Penn State. Clemson, who's terrible.
Well, I mean, under that, taking that to its conclusion, who would you have at number 1?
I'm not. I'm just asking. I'm saying that we are holding Group of 5 teams to a higher standard than we even hold Power 5 teams, and that's ridiculous. There's no reason to do that.
Especially since Group of 5 teams don't get the opportunities.
Cincinnati has as good of a resume as anybody in the country. Anybody.
Yeah.
As good. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying it's as good as anybody else you can tell me is in the top 5.
And here's the thing, and it shouldn't be about manipulating the situation, but if Cincinnati is not in the top 4 tonight, they're not going to get in the top 4 because they're not going to beat anybody.
That's true.
The only way that
puts
they
them
can,
in. Somebody's got to lose.
unless Alabama loses, Michigan State and Ohio State have to play.
That's right.
So one of them are gonna lose, and they're probably the other two.
Oklahoma needs to lose.
I don't think so. I think Cincinnati's ranked ahead of Oklahoma.
I think they should be. Yeah.
I think they will be as well.
But to his point, if Cincinnati's not in the top 4, don't you think Oklahoma then would be?
No, I think it would be Michigan State, Ohio State. I don't think.
So
Oklahoma,
you think it'll be Georgia? If it's not Cincinnati, who's your top 4?
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Georgia.
Hold on. Is this who you think it's going to be or who
Yes.
it should be?
This is who it's going to be.
Okay. This is who you
I
think
think
the
it's gonna
committee
be
will do.
Georgia, Michigan State, Alabama, and Ohio State.
2 SEC teams, two Big Ten
That's
teams.
exactly what I think is going to happen. I think it's ridiculous, but that's right now. Those two conferences are head and shoulders above everybody else in the world.
That's why I think Michigan State is the 2.
I think they're going to be
Because
the
the
two
conference
as
they
well.
play in.
And
That's
I'm
why
fine
they should
with
be
it.
in the 2.
I'm fine with them being the 2 because they're going to. I think they should. I think Cincinnati should be 3.
So if Michigan State is 2, Alabama's 3, Ohio State is
That's
4?
what I would have. Yes, because I mean I think they both have one loss, but one was at home and one was on the road.
So who's your 5 then? Who do you think?
I think
5?
Cincinnati will be the 5.
And
and I-
Oklahoma's the 6.
And I think that they're going to put Cincinnati at 5 to say, well, they can get in if somebody loses, and then they're going to jump Oklahoma over them in the final rankings, and that's what's going to happen. That's the way I see it playing out.
I just can't see. I can't see you having 2 SEC teams and 2 Big Ten teams. I see from a competitive standpoint that they are head and shoulders above everybody else. I don't know that they want to say that to the rest of the country.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. What do you think it's going to be?
I think either Cincinnati or Oklahoma has to be in there.
All right. What do you think it's going to be?
I think Georgia's number 1.
Georgia's going to be number 1. We all know that.
Yeah. And because Georgia's number 1, I think Alabama will be number 3.
That's correct.
So you're looking at 2 and 4 at this point. Who do I think it's going to be?
That's right.
Okay. I think you're probably right. I think it's probably going to be Michigan State at 2, and I think it'll be Oklahoma at 4. Just
Oklahoma.
because I don't think you're going to have 2 Big Ten teams in there.
Do you see Alabama at 3
I
from the committee?
I mean, you make a fair point because of just 1 versus 4. You probably don't want to place them 2 conference foes. I don't think that they get that deep into how they look at that. I think they throw it on the table, and so here's what I think it
Will be.
Mm-hmm. I think it will be Georgia, obviously 1. I think Michigan State 2. I think Cincinnati is 3, and I think Alabama 4. And then I see Oklahoma 5, Oregon 6, Ohio State 7.
Here's the thing.
Where's Wake Forest undefeated?
Lovely parting gifts.
8 or 9, 10, I don't know.
8, 9, 10. I'm
Somewhere
just
in there.
asking.
They're not ahead of Ohio State.
No.
I guess the thing is you can put Georgia 1 and Alabama 4 because they're eventually going to play.
Right. You can do it now. If you're going to do it, now's the time.
The only thing is,
What should it be?
if Georgia's 1 and Alabama's 4 and they play each other in the SEC championship, which Georgia's already there, then is the loser going to fall out?
No, I think Georgia doesn't fall out.
Alabama does.
Alabama would because they'd have
If
2
they
losses.
lost,
Now, what do you think it should be?
I think what I said it will be is what it should be.
I think what you said it will be is what it should be as well.
I know that's what I would do, and that's what I think it will be.
Here's what I think it should be. I think it should be Georgia, Cincinnati, Alabama, Michigan State.
Okay.
And I'd be okay with that too.
I don't know that I'm okay with an undefeated Michigan State being ahead of Alabama. Or being behind Alabama, I mean. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. The last question I have, and we don't have a whole lot of time, was where do you put 2-loss Auburn? Because they do have the ability to make the SEC championship game, and you've got to have them close enough to get in, right? Are they in the top 10?
Got to be. I think Wake Forest is 10. I think Auburn's probably 8 or 9.
Behind Ohio State and Oregon. And I do think Oregon
And I
will
don't-
and should be ahead of Ohio State.
I think Michigan's going to be in there too, though.
to.
They lost to Michigan State by whatever
4.
it was, 4.
I don't know. I think Wake's ahead of Michigan.
Here's the thing. I'm not sure if Notre Dame's going to be in the top 10.
No, I don't think they will be. Nor do they deserve to be.
Right.
Well, CBS thinks they will be. CBS has it. This is what they have their listing at: Georgia, Michigan State, Alabama, Ohio State, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Michigan, Wake Forest, Oregon, Notre Dame. And then you've got Auburn, Ole Miss, and A&M at 13, 14, 15.
Auburn back to 13. 2 losses. I mean,
It's tough.
that's probably about where they should be.
I agree. But long term,
Well, I mean, if they win out, and
Yeah.
things will take care of themselves.
Sure.
They can move them.
sure.
They can move them.
All right. It's Top 5 Tuesday. When we come back, it's our top 5 bourbons. So excited for this. So stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns to the Lee Company studio after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Lists are for suckers. Oh, did I leave my mic on? It's Top 5 Tuesday on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Here's Chris and Matt.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Patton and JP Plant. We've had a great show, and I hope that you guys have had a good time listening or watching wherever you may be. It's been a good one. I mean, Chris Massaro had some great information and
some great insight
to the process.
Mm-hmm.
I was
still didn't tell us when they and Western will officially be joining the MAC, which was a little disappointing. But, yeah.
Thought that was coming.
Gave him plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, maybe Saturday. Who knows? Maybe at halftime of the game,
that was a good plan.
They'll meet at midfield.
I tried.
Maction tonight. If you want to watch, again, like I said,
get a look at who
future
Middle
opponents.
and Western will be playing.
That's right.
Future opponents, including Ball State defensive back Chase Bishop. I don't even know if he's playing or if he's had to sit.
Defensive back or wideout?
He's playing defensive back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he's had to sit this year though, because of transferring from Tennessee.
That's kind of crazy that you would make a walk-on sit.
I don't know. I don't know.
But
if
he
that's
was
the
there
rule.
last year.
Right. He was at Tennessee last year.
Right. So
I don't know how that works.
yeah, I don't either. That's interesting.
I don't know the rules. I don't make the rules, and I don't really read the rules for transfers. I just, if they can play, great. If they don't, they don't.
We'll wait till next year.
We'll wait till next year. I don't know. But yeah, Ball State and Akron tonight. You said
Eastern Michigan at
Eastern
Toledo.
Michigan and Toledo, and then Miami of Ohio versus Ohio.
I've been on the Toledo campus, by the way. It's really pretty. It's all of the buildings seem to be built out of the same brick styles, if that makes any sense.
A little forethought into the
Yeah, it's pretty
build of the
fascinating.
campus? That's
Yeah,
good.
it's a pretty campus.
doesn't always happen.
Speaking of wild college football games, before we get into the top 5, the Huntington Hawks at some point, maybe it was their JV, played Tennessee Valley Prep or is playing Tennessee Valley Prep this weekend.
The Valley Boys.
The Valley Boys.
Boys.
With a Z.
So I just thought that was an interesting development. I thought, playing NCAA D3 school, it's got to be them, playing their JV or something.
Yeah, I would think.
But interesting. And then our boy Carter Sidlowski was at Jacksonville State. So, yeah, we have a really good top 5 for you today because it's getting cold out. Maybe your team stinks and you need,
Something to forget.
something to forget. Maybe your team is great and they're going to win a world championship.
You
tonight.
need
You need
something
something
to
to celebrate.
Celebrate.
I mean, so many great
It's
reasons.
so versatile.
It is the most versatile of the spirits
Yes.
because, well, there's only 2 ways to drink it. However you like, which is what Booker No would tell you, and the other way is neat. But it is the top 5 bourbons, and we here fancy ourselves bourbon aficionados a little bit anyway. I mean,
Bourbon consumers for sure.
No doubt.
consumers for sure.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this.
Fans. Yeah.
So we want to tell you about our friends at Mid-South 5 Fitness. And Thalys still in the group, stillathletes.com, STEEL athletes.com. Go see Thalys and the great folks at Mid-South 5 Fitness. 2 great locations, one in Columbia, one in Franklin. And they do a fantastic job getting you right, eating right, get you in the gym, lifting heavy, making gains. Definitely go see Thalys and the folks at Mid-South 5 Fitness. All right, time for Top 5 Tuesday. And I have a couple honorable mentions, of course. I could have 10 honorable mentions because, well, there are a lot of great bourbon out there. And I have a lot of it on my shelf. But this list is, for me, my list is bourbons that I can get.
Here's what I put on the subheading: favorite available bourbons.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's got to be available. I mean, obviously,
And you've got to be able to get it. You've got to be able to afford it.
Yeah.
Elijah Craig 23 and 18 are probably the best bourbons on earth. And then you've got the Pappies, of
Unless
course,
you
and-
know somebody.
And then you've got the Pappies, and you've got the old Fitzgeralds and those type of things. But I mean, that's not something you can just get every day.
All right.
So I'm looking forward to giving out the top 5 bourbons that you can get at your most local liquor stores. I have one on here that's a little difficult to find, but that's it. My honorable mentions are Evan Williams 1783, which is about a $20 bottle, and it is fantastic.
That's the white label, right?
No, that's the bottled
That's
bond.
the bottled bond. There you go.
1783 is kind of a short, stubby bottle.
That's the reason I like that one. Yeah.
And the one that I was just asking about, the straight edge
Yes.
out of,
That's your honorable mention.
yeah, that's an honorable mention.
Okay.
And The only reason it's an honorable mention is because it is finished in port wine barrels, and I kind of think I think that should disqualify it from being a bourbon because I believe it's adding a flavor, but that's neither here nor there. Notice this doesn't have Tennessee whiskey in it or anything like that. This is true bourbon.
Bourbons.
So I don't know if you guys have those on your list. Maybe I did it wrong.
No, you're
I got.
you're good.
Any honorable mentions from you guys?
I have no honorable mentions.
I've got one. The base Old Forester.
Straight up 83 proof.
Yep, 83 proof. Fantastic. I prefer it with a cube of ice. But great for this time. And while not a bourbon, wanted to give a shout out and mention it because it's I think it's in the paper. Gobbler Springs, sweet mash,
It was
Lawrence
good.
County style Tennessee whiskey.
It was good.
True Tennessee whiskey.
Watch that video.
Yes.
Read that story on Main Street Murray this week.
There you go.
All right, number 5, Mo.
Number 5, Evan Williams Small Batch.
Okay.
Just regular old Evan Williams
It's
Small Batch. I like it.
1783, yeah.
It's good stuff.
All right. I'll go. One tasted last week. Wilderness Trail, the single barrel. I think that's what right? Single barrel?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it was bottled in bond,
Bottled
too.
and Bond, yep.
That's good stuff.
I
Wilderness
was
Trail is
a big
delicious.
fan of that one. That will be a recurring one.
It was impressive.
My number 5 is Russell's Reserve 10-year. Wild Turkey is putting out great
Russell.
juice right now, and in about 3 years, the Russell's Reserve is going to be way better because it will be from their new distillery that opened in 2016. So in just a couple of years, the Russell's Reserve is going to be even better. But right now, it's really good too.
Whole new setup.
Whole new. Go get some
stills
Wild
and
Turkey.
everything?
Go get some Wild Turkey 101 right now, and it will be some of the best bourbon you've ever tasted.
The Wild
Just
Turkey now?
regular 101
Okay.
Wild Turkey. It's delicious. Number 4.
Blanton's.
Ah.
That's good.
Hey, you can't go wrong. I mean, it's a really good bourbon, and everybody wants it.
That's good.
I have a bottle. I don't drink it a whole lot.
Well.
I like to share that one.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll help you with
There
that.
you go.
Sure.
Yeah. My number 4, Eagle Rare.
Oh, man. Eagle Rare is solid. I mean, solid. My number 4 is I have a couple of these because I cheat. Rowan's Creek and Noah's Mill. It's the same bourbon. One's just proofed down a little more than the other. It's the exact same bourbon. One of them is just 114 proof. The other one is not. So Rowan's Creek, Noah's Mill out of Willett. That's my number 4.
So my number 3 is Rowan's Creek.
Not surprised. You drink it a lot.
Yeah.
You like that one. And I love that you do because I teach the Willett class at Whiskey University, and I'm a big fan of the Willett juice.
Yeah.
So a lot of cherries in it.
There you go. My number 3, the Straight Edge. That
Good stuff.
finished in that wine. That sold me there. Now I understand that was a one-time deal.
From
right?
what I understand, it was, but I think it was so popular that they're going to continue making it.
Now it'll be
More
completely
than one
different
time, huh?
because
The
it'll be
prob-
different barrels,
The
but,
problem is that
or different wine.
it was the juice was sourced from MGP and then finished in those wine barrels. So it's not going to eat the same.
Yeah,
You're not going to
it'll
get the
be
same
different.
bourbon. But it'll be different. But the ones we have is
fantastic.
fantastic. Yes. My number 3, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. This is the one that you can't necessarily get all the time, but when it comes out, you can get it for about a month. And any of their Elijah Craig is fantastic, but the barrel proofs are just don't eat Butterfingers with it because you may drink the entire bottle.
So my number 2 is Elijah Creek Small Batch.
Just regular Elijah Craig. That's a great list. I mean, a great bourbon that you can never go wrong.
Yeah. All right, my number 2, which is becoming more and more difficult to find, the Weller Antique.
107.
Yep.
All the Buffalo Trace stuff is harder to find
Yeah.
because they're
Even Buffalo Trace.
well, yeah. I mean, it's allocated. Everything is allocated. Even Ancient Age. Which, by the way, if you can't find Buffalo Trace or Blanton's, get the Ancient Age 90. It's the same exact mash bill as Buffalo Trace. It's about $30 cheaper because it's like $15. It's good. I mean, you get a handle of that and feel really good about yourself. I mean, just because it's. I mean, you can spend $30 and have a really good bourbon for a really long time. My number 2 is Eagle Rare. I drank an entire half bottle during the Titans Chiefs game a couple years ago. I was celebrating the first half and then drowning my sorrows the second.
There's that versatility. Yep.
There you go. So my number 1.
Number 1. Here we go.
And this may kind of challenge that easily gotten.
Yeah.
Rock Hill Farms.
I knew that was going to be your number 1. Because this dude, anytime we go to our buddy's house who has a bottle, that's what he's wanting. And when we had the meeting in Americana Tap House, they had it, remember? Mm-hmm. And you got a pour of it there. Yeah, Rock Hill Farms. Have you ever had it?
I don't think so.
Oh, my gosh. It is phenomenal.
You're welcome.
All right, my number 1. This is the one I'm drinking the most right now. Maker's 46.
Just, man. It's as good as it gets.
It's available. It's inexpensive.
And it tastes good.
Yeah. Especially right after dinner.
It's funny because I don't have any Makers on here. I don't have any weeded bourbons, and Makers is probably the thing I drink the most. But these are.
Yeah, you had to get all fancy with
Yeah, I did, and I'm sorry. My number 1, you can get these anywhere. And I say these because there are 2, because I'm a cheater. Old Forester 1910 or 1920. To me,
We saw those.
We did.
it's the same bourbon. It's
I know
just
where you can get those
watered
right now.
down a little bit. I mean, the 1910 is, I think, 98 proof or 96 proof, and the 1920 is 114 proof.
114, 115.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but those 2 right there, Old Forester nailed it. Nailed it. And they're all good. If you that entire batch selection is good. There you go. Now you know what we like to drink. Bring us a bottle.
That's right.
We are accepting donations.
No question there.
Because hopefully after tonight, we'll have to restock.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good night. Game 6 of the World Series. And if you are listening on WZYX, Sports Mix Live, maybe? I'm not sure. Wonder how the Reds are doing. Oh, wait. Love you guys. Just kidding. Wow. We'll see you guys tomorrow at.
Haven't won it yet, man. Come on now.
Still playing, though, unlike them.
Come on.
4
Hey,
o'clock.
don't create any bad karma, man.
No.
Come hang out with us. We'll appreciate it.
Get off the air.
This is Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today from Patton and JP Plant. I'm Chris Yassing. Have a great day and stay cool, Columbia.
Go Braves.